Hey, how you doing everybody? My name is CherryBoy and welcome to A Light in the Dark, a new indie visual novel game that I think has a very interesting art style and should have a very interesting storyline. Let's get right into it. New game. Alright. The world is not fair. This world is not fair. There was a saying, the world is one big, intricate machine, with the people as its cogs, and the law as its screws. The countless pieces connect with each other in order to operate. Through continuous refining, on top of repeated collapse and construction, modern society is eventually formed. The more complicated a machine appears to be, the more delicate it really is. One loose screw would stop the whole thing. One failed detail would lead to collapse. Therefore, we must be ever vigilant and watchful and remove every single problematic piece. Mommy needs to head out and take care of something, so have dinner without me. You can eat whatever you like. If Daddy calls, just tell him I'm in a class, okay? The laughter of an unknown man, hurried footsteps, and the sound of an engine starting. Oh, what? No, she cheats. It was at that moment I heard the sound of dissonance from the machine. Wow, this is already getting dark. It was very cold. I felt a freezing chill as I regained consciousness. It wasn't so much that I felt cold when I woke, but that an icy draft had caused me to wake up. As I opened my eyes, they were met by darkness. All I could make out was that I was in some sort of small room. This place was unknown to me. It wasn't my room, nor was it a hotel room. My head hurt as if I had a hangover. I tried to stand up in order to find some sort of light switch, but all I felt from my legs was numbness. The smell of cigarettes and mold in the air was nauseating. As I fought to regain my bearings, I realized that something was not quite right. What happened to me? A sense of unease overcame me. I tried to calm down and organize my thoughts. I recalled that I was on my way home from cram school. Finally up, rich boy? Who? An unfamiliar voice rang in my ears, right when I opened my mouth to ask. Out of nowhere, a foot swiftly sunk itself into my stomach, launching me toward the wall. Ugh. I felt my stomach turn and almost vomited. However, all that came out was a dry fit of coughing. I couldn't stop spazzing on the ground. All that was on my mind was the intense pain, yet I was also too scared to make any sound. Who is she? My body's not responding. Where am I? If this goes on, what happened? My body hurts. I have to escape. Countless questions went through my mind, but before I could speak, I heard that cold voice again. Who gave you permission to talk? There was no change in her expression as she watched me struggle. There was nothing but a look of pure animosity in her eyes. You better keep your mouth shut. I do not have the patience nor intention to play nice with you. Got that? I struggled to stand up, then came to the shocking realization that my limbs weren't numb. They were tightly tied up with rope. I struggled against it, but the rope was far tighter than I imagined. Oh boy, that's going down. Rich boy, do you understand the words coming out of my mouth? Or do you only respond after a good beating? Bitch. Another kick made me almost scream and curse at her. However, knowing now was not the time to confront her, I grit my teeth to force myself to stay calm. Anything I said at that moment could be fatal. I had to grasp the situation first. Suddenly, she got closer. Not realizing her intention, my body instinctively tried to move away from her touch. Scared? Noticing my slight reaction, she gave a snort of contempt. The last shred of defiance disappeared as soon as the blade touched my body. There was no chance of victory, no matter how I resisted. I waited for her next move. All you could hear as the quiet room was our shallow breathing. The tip of the blade moved across my skin, making a small cut. My tensed up nerves were extra sensitive, detecting the exact temperature of the air, the crudeness of the rope, and the sharpness of the blade. There was a certain feeling of warmth from the blood that flowed out from the wound and down my arm. Nevertheless, my mind was extremely clear. Kidnapping, human trafficking, organ trade. A few possibilities came to mind, but there was no way to determine which. Since we have to hang out a little before I get the ransom, let me make a few things clear. Don't try to run or talk without permission. I don't mind breaking a few bones. Humans can handle a few just fine, after all. You hear me? I nodded quietly. I couldn't digest all the information at once, but one key word stood out. Ransom. The blade left my skin, and I swore I heard a little sigh escape from her. There was a sound of light footsteps moving towards the wall. Before I could even feel confused, a glaring light broke through the darkness of the room. Not able to adjust to the sudden brightness, it took me quite a while to finally open my eyes. What came into view was totally foreign to me. The room was roughly 300 square feet in size. The wall that was meant for painting was now modeled. Its original color no longer visible. Time had its way with the room, causing everything to become decayed, be it the wooden chair, desk, or bed. The resulting smell of mold in the air was reminiscent of ruins you'd find in a movie. The owner of this place stood near the window, with a taunting smirk on her lips. "Never lived in a place like this, did you, rich boy?" The words were clearly provocative, bearing the burning pain. I tried to observe her through the lamplight. She was a young-looking woman. She wore a dark overcoat and a scarf, her shoulder-length hair casually scattered behind her back, with bangs almost covering her eyes. Surprisingly, she wore no face mask or helmet, nor made any attempt to avoid my staring. She didn't seem to mind her face being seen. She didn't have the stereotypical look of a criminal. Despite a hint of unease on her meager face, there wasn't an ounce of guilt within those dark brown pupils of hers that stared straight at me. "You know what? I hate people like you." She was talking to herself, ignoring how pale my face was and making no attempt to elaborate. This was not a conversation, but a simple declaration. Who was she? Where was I? What did she want? Why did she do such a thing? Countless questions circled around in my brain, but not a single sound came out of my mouth when I opened it. What did eventually come out was something totally unrelated. Why me? The unfamiliar dry voice sounded like some rough sandpaper. Why? The girl mumbled my question next to the window. The light reflected off the girl's face, orange spots of light scattered across her messy hair, dancing like fire. She hung her head in contemplation. It took her a while to raise her head again with a grin. "No particular reason," as though it was only natural. The empty voice held no emotions, but instead a malevolent sense of pleasure. "The world is just unfair. Isn't that your favorite line?" Seeing the shock in my eyes, she chuckled. With that mocking statement, the curtain was raised for this kidnapping incident. A light in the dark. Day 1, kidnapping. Whoa, pretty good. Alright, let me just save that real quick. Autosave. There we go. Save that. Back. Alright, let's keep going. Okay. I stood in a world of darkness. There was no sky or ground, only endless darkness. What was that? Sorry. A dream. I realized amidst all the fuzziness that I was in a dream, yet I couldn't control my thoughts. The intermittent noise was annoying, like a radio with poor signal. Suddenly the ground began to slowly sink as if it were quicksand. I tried to move my legs, but realized I couldn't move. My heels, my knees, and then my arms. The darkness gradually devoured my body. I heard that vivid disdain before my vision was overtaken. "I hate people like you." And I wake up. Day 1, morning. Yeah. Situation. What time was it now? I couldn't tell the time. Maiden. Oh no. I needed to escape. Untying the rope was my only option. The only exits were the door and the window. Was there really nowhere else? I should try to converse with her. A better relationship could be beneficial. And the maiden? A girl with long hair and sharp eyes. She didn't seem to be older than 30. Her pale skin didn't appear to be healthy, and she wore a clearly outdated overcoat and scarf. I still didn't know who she was. If only I could get her name at least. Why did she pick me as a target? Alright then, let's go, I guess. Still half asleep, I opened my eyes. The room before me was still the same unfamiliar one. So it wasn't a dream. A long sigh couldn't relieve the depression in my chest, and my heart sunk to the pit of my chest. Hey, Rabby Ribby. Oh yeah, this game, I think it was made by the same people? Or by one of the people from Rabby Ribby, which I have not played yet, but I've seen it. It looks fun. Anyway, I was kidnapped. What was their objective? What should I do? My mind was all blank. There was more confusion than fear. It's been said that in the presence of a threat, you either become petrified, try to flee, or try to fight. Reflexively stopping your actions to avoid catching predators' attention was probably the best way to describe how I felt. I tried to pull the rope, but nothing happened. The headache was hard to bear. The pain medication I usually kept on me was in my bag, which was out of reach in my current state. Damn it. My mind did get clearer after sleeping. Everything that happened yesterday still felt like a dream, but the reality of it was right before my eyes. An empty room. Morning light brightened up the room. I could see the peeling paint on the wall and the old pieces of furniture. There was nothing but decay, as though it was untouched for a long time. Was it an abandoned empty house, or did they actually live here? The kidnapper was nowhere to be found. I couldn't hear anything, and thus couldn't tell how many people were around. Perhaps shouting for help might catch someone's attention, but the kidnapper might be also right outside of the door. Perhaps shouting. Yell for help. Contemplate. Contemplate. Let's contemplate the situation. My yelling might not be heard, and I could be in trouble if it got the kidnapper's attention instead. I could still feel the pain from where I got kicked the day before. I tried to make myself a little more comfortable and relax my back by leaning on the wall. First, my physical condition. My hands were tied up to the point that I had no space to move around, let alone release the rope. My body overall was fine, but I couldn't really rest in this position. I had to save my energy to escape. So where to start? How'd I get kidnapped? What time is it? How'd I get kidnapped? My memory before arriving here. I was on my way home from the cram school. Someone suddenly called my name when I passed by a road under construction. My mouth was covered before I could turn around. The last thing I remembered was the smell of some chemical. Some sort of anesthetic. Ether, maybe? It felt like some plot straight from a movie that I never imagined it would happen to me. Not that many people passed by that place, nor was there a surveillance camera. No one probably even noticed I was kidnapped yet. I was uncertain if there was an accomplice. I was not particularly bulky, but I doubt she could drag me all by herself. In fact, who called me back then anyway? Despite my best effort, I couldn't even remember the person's gender. Note updated. That person. Before I could think further, I heard footsteps outside. I couldn't help but tense up. Who was that? Before I made up my mind on how to respond, I saw the girl pushing open the door. Oh boy, she got a knife. Holding the knife and wearing the same overcoat and scarf, she stared at me. I tried to look back calmly, but I could still clearly feel my rapid heartbeat. Finally up, rich boy? I looked at her silently, trying to guess her intention from her words and actions. I was in an unfamiliar situation, and there were too many questions still unanswered. The location, the time, their objectives, any sort of information would help. You're free once your daddy pays up, so stay quiet. Otherwise, I can't guarantee what'll happen to you. After she told that to me, she sat next to the window and lit a cigarette. It was easier to see her face in the sunlight. Her neglected long hair was messy, and her long bangs almost blocked her vision. Her pale skin wasn't makeup, more like something she was born with, or the result of poor health. Or maybe drug abuse? Hey. The girl's voice broke my train of thought. She stared coldly at me, with the cigarette still in her hand. I will make a few things clear. When I contact your dad, don't talk, don't move, don't have any funny ideas. This is not a game. I don't have the patience, and I don't mind shutting you up by breaking one or two bones. Digesting her every word, I pondered what to say. Trying to scare me? Got it. Got it. So fast. Got it. I'll play by your rules. Still assessing the best way to deal with her, I should avoid triggering her, for my own safety. You better. I am free. I am free once you get your money, right? What do you think? Her nonchalant answer proved my guess. Not that her assent meant anything. If a kidnapper's promise actually meant anything, then even world peace wouldn't be a pipe dream. Hao Chen-jiang, age 18, only son of CEO Hua Jiang, enters the Chongqing Road, Lane 2. Okay. Living by himself, buying breakfast at 10 a.m. every day, jogging at the park at 8 p.m., cram school every Tuesday and Thursday, which ends at 9:30 p.m., always taking the shortcut at the walkway under construction. She lazily read my information, and from time to time paused to look at me, as though anticipating something. Quite comprehensive. She grunted after not noticing my lack of reaction. Leaking personal information wasn't new, but it was still uncomfortable to hear someone knowing your daily routine like they knew their own garage. If she knew that much about me, did that mean an acquaintance of mine was behind all of this? My best attempts to remember still failed. Hard to believe she had any reasons to pick me. No one but my parents and the building security knew my schedule, and none of them could be the leaker. First things first. You don't have to keep my feet tied up, you know. I have no intention of running. Even if you don't believe me, my hands are still tied. Also, you have a knife. I couldn't run away like this, even if I wanted to. It's really uncomfortable being tied up like this, and it's just boy. I told you before. She interrupted me. She squatted before me and looked me right in the eye. I hate people like you. Having too much money to spend, never tasting any pain, and everything just goes your way. You know nothing, yet you still act almighty, like some big shot. Uncomfortable? You think I care? Let's make you more uncomfortable, I say. What a messed up personality. I felt her animosity, but didn't want to explain it to her. Too many people found society to be unfair, always blaming their failures on someone else, thinking they were victims of the system. If it was that easy to convince her, she wouldn't have kidnapped someone in the first place. Got nothing left to say now? Noticing my silence, she tried to provoke me. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I knew I shouldn't try to argue with her, but I couldn't stop myself. I couldn't tolerate such an extreme take on things. If I let her keep going, she might think she was onto something. I don't know anything about you, yet you think you know everything about me. My words went straight for the fallacy of her logic. I couldn't help but laugh. If you just want to take it out on someone, say it. Stop making it sound like everyone owes you. I shouldn't have done that! Shut up. A kick with full force narrowly missed me. I gasped in pain in anticipation. You are all the same. What else can you do except babbling? Nothing, am I right? I smirked in despise, staring at her face twisted in anger. Note updated. Oh. So what now? Remaining actions 3. Oh. Here you can choose various actions. Reaction point reach 0, the next phase will begin. Chat, talk to the... I wanna talk. Let's talk some more. Yeah. Older girl. Oh. Talk mode. Click on the topics. What do you want? Can you time me? What's your name? Older girl. What's your name? What do you want? What's your name? What's your name? The girl was staring at her phone and didn't hear my question, so I repeated it. Hyung Yi. She carelessly said 2 syllables before suddenly shutting up. She raised her head and looked at me cautiously. Say again. I secretly remembered the partial answer, but acted as though I heard nothing. She dubiously wrinkled her eyebrow, then glanced at me while biting her lips. You think I'll tell you just so you can call the cops later? How should I address you, then? You almost said it anyway. How should I address you? I'll talk about the cops. Talk about you and me. How should I address you, then? Hearing my response, she burst into laughter. How to address me? Are you out of your mind? You can address me any way you want. I'm not here to make friends. I see. So what now? Let's talk some more. Older girl. Can you untie me? Can you untie me? Why, so you can escape? No, it's quite uncomfortable to stay in this position. How my hands were tied up not only made it difficult to escape, but also pressed hard on my body, making even resting difficult. I couldn't even feel my hands from the numbness. I wondered if it would cause some problems if I stayed like this. Please, I can't escape without a weapon, and I'm not dumb enough to risk my own life. Seeing no response from her, my tone got more and more direct. Uncomfortable? She raised an eyebrow. How about a blanket and a cup of coffee, plus a few novels to help you kill some time? That's not what I meant. Yes, no sugar, please. Yeah, no sugar, please. Yes, no sugar, please. You find it funny? Looks like you still don't get it. She walked over and pointed the sharp blade at my chest. Oh god. I kind of lack a sense of humor and don't want to waste my time, so shut your yap if you want to go home in one piece. Hearing the threat in her words, I shrugged non-committally. Hearing the threat in her words, I shrugged non-committally. She really did lack a sense of humor. Ooh. So what now? You know, let's just talk to her. Let's get it all done. What do you want? Yeah. What do you want? Are you an idiot? Money, of course. Do you think I enjoy kidnapping people? She grunted in disdain, then her mouth broke into a naughty smirk. Of course, teaching your type of lesson feels good too. Otherwise, you would think the whole world only circulates around you. The words were still aggressive. I still had no idea why she was so mad. Everything aside, just the fact I didn't even know her in person made it bizarre why she had such a grudge. So what happens after you get your money? Who do you think you are? The money. So what happens after you get the money? Kidnapping is naturally for money, but money for what? Will they ask for more? Escape abroad? And more importantly, do they intend to let me go? What do you think? She raised the corner of her mouth and returned to question. The non-committal smile was creepy. It's none of your business anyway. You just pray your daddy pays up soon. That amount is nothing to you, right? I hope so too. Bringing this up covered my mind in shadow, but I couldn't do anything about it. Alright then, I'm all out of action points. I wasn't sure how much time had passed, and I had grown hungry. My head still hurt a little, and my tied-up limbs only made me moody. She just sat there staring at her phone. She kept dialing some numbers with an anxious expression. Why don't you eat something? Not hungry. You have eaten this morning. Just cut to the chase and stop beating around the bush, will you? She replied coldly, staring at me with a certain annoyance. I want to go home. Hey, chill! Hey, chill. Oh, come on! Keep babbling. I dare you. After another kick out of nowhere, she looked down on me mercilessly. You want money, right? Oh wait, you want money, right? How much? None of your business. I tried to negotiate with her, but she looked even more annoyed. Look, if you let me go now, all my money is yours. All the cash on me and in my bank accounts. That should work, right? I will say nothing and pretend this never happened. I live by myself anyway. No one will suspect if I just say I took a walk. Shut up. You think I'm a fool? Why should I believe you? You think you can talk your way out of this? Just shut up and wait for your daddy to pay. She snorted and showed no interest in my proposal. What if he won't? He will. She interrupted me, raising her eyebrow in response. You will be in real trouble if he doesn't. Great. I realized her implication. My dry chuckle felt bitter. She had a point. I would be in trouble without the ransom. I suppressed my worry, knowing it was not the time to panic. My priorities were to collect as much information as possible, replenishing my stamina, and finding a chance to escape. Could I have something to eat or drink? I haven't eaten anything since yesterday. Oh? The rich boy's already hungry after skipping one meal? Yep. I admitted without hesitation. My hunger was real, and there was nothing impressive about hiding that. Pfft. She couldn't retort, so she poured me a glass of water from the bottle after a grunt. I can't grab it unless you untie me. Just lick it like a dog. I tried to convince her to loosen up the rope, but she had no intention of doing so. But I'll drink. Then please hold still. Seriously? Noticing I would do as she suggested, she sounded surprised. Wasn't it your idea? If you don't want to, you can just feed me yourself. Not breaking a sweat, I replied coldly. Her pride was not edible, and I had to keep my strength. Why, you. I was used to it. If someone wanted to insult or enrage you, just accept it plainly. People are like cats. They don't show interest in toys that don't struggle. Don't move. No longer composed, she moved closer to me with water in her hand. What are you? I was pressed to the wall without finishing my sentence. She bent my head and forced the water down my throat, like some sort of torture. Gurgle, gurgle. Want some more? She raised her eyebrow, smiling victoriously. Screw you. I couldn't say anything while choking. The spilled water soaked my clothes, making me tremble in this cold weather. That was straightforward and violent, but at least I can rest a little after drinking some water. Alright, got some stamina back. Alright. The cell phone on this table started vibrating. She stole a glance at me with pursed lips after seeing the number. People had small gestures when they were under pressure, like pursing lips, flipping hair, and biting nails. The person in question might not be aware of it, but one's body language revealed his or her true emotions. Ooh. Stay here, and don't you dare make a sound. Leaving with that threat, she walked out through the door with the phone. With the door closed, shut, I vaguely heard the conversation outside, but was not able to figure out the exact content. Was it an accomplice? There would be even less of a chance to escape if there were more of them. I sighed toward the sky, as though mocking my effort. Every undesirable outcome had occurred. If it was only her, then I had to rest as much as possible. There might be a chance to escape when she wasn't careful. The door wasn't the only exit. I might even be able to jump out of the window if I could free myself from the ropes. Locations, head count, weapons, too many uncertainties, let alone how to untie this damn rope. It was more practical to figure something out on my own than to wait for rescue. It would have been ideal if I could persuade her to let me go. I absolutely could not trigger her before I was prepared. At the very least, I should get her to drop her guard to facilitate my escape. After that, I will play it by ear. Alright, nice. Well, that's all the time I have for this one, everyone, but thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, and if there's any other games that you would like me to play, leave a comment. If you enjoyed this and would like to see more, please hit that subscribe button and that notification bell, that would be epically appreciated of you. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, my name is CherryBoy, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!